Okay, so for today's stream, I'll be testing out more of the block mining simulation game. Actually, I just noticed there's a bit more hiss on the audio. Let me just turn down the monitor volume. Testing. All right, I think that's okay. Let me know if there's if the audio quality is a bit different. I think I hear a hiss, but I don't know if that's my if that's always been there. Anyway, so today I actually did a bit of refactoring work for the UI. So my goal with this refactoring work is so right here, this whole area is just kind of like one giant thing that's produced together, and I want to make it into I'm going to refactor it into like independent frames. So there's going to be like kind of one display class, and then this can be kind of its own independent object, and this will be its own independent object with its own state. And whenever this thing wants to reprint itself, it's going to send some information to a console writer thread, and same thing with this one. But right now they're all together, and the goal in doing this is to make it a bit more generic, so that not only can I can do things like resizing the inventory, because right now it's just a fixed width. Eventually I want to be able to add a help menu, which is the whole point of the Kickstarter over here. And so I did a bunch of changes. I changed around how the events flow around, so there'll be no obvious differences in the stream. It'll look exactly like it always looks. But this is just mainly to test through, and I guess some of the big changes are if I try to resize the window. That's an important thing to test. And I guess if I close that, and then let's try going onto the TTY. Oh, interesting. That doesn't show up at all like it does on my. It's all squished. Yeah, it looks kind of normal on mine. On the actual computer, but on the OBS, it's all squished. But it works. All right, that's proved that works. There we go. There's, I guess, 3 of you there now. Does anyone notice a difference in the audio quality if you've been here before? Let's see what's the highlights of the changes. I guess the main thing I changed was I had a class that was before that was dedicated just to calculating the character widths, but I decided to turn that into the console writing thread. So that's going to be the thread that not only handles the it'll handle any kind of writing to the actual screen. So any kind of like printfs would be sent there. Or I'll probably send more like generic printing instructions, like print this text at this part of the screen. And then that way I can I also had a potential race condition before where the text width measurement could potentially be interfered with if you're actually just printing to the screen. I never had an issue with that, but this will also resolve any potential issue with that. And in general, any kind of so previously I had a class which is called viewport, and that's what's responsible for drawing what you see right here. And so that'll be I've renamed that, and that's also going to inherit from a more generic user interface. I think called the user interface frame class. And so everything that gets displayed on the screen will just be its own thread, every little pane. So that way I can support not only the help menu, but all the other types of menus and things that I want. You know what? I still hear that hiss on the audio. I wonder if it's worth trying to change. Let me just move the preamp around. Maybe it's not grounded or something. Nope, still hissing noise. And there's no chats yet. Is there? I wonder if the chat is stuck. That's happened at least once before. So do a bit of code review. So this is the class that's going to do all of the writing. One of the main things I had to figure out was like, if I am going to have actual frames, what do I do when the terminal resizes to a different value? And so for that, I have a message sent to the console writer thread, and then the console writer thread is going to know about all of the interface items that are on the screen, all of which are going to be the run threads. So then the console writer thread will send a message down to all of the frames that are currently on the screen, and then each of those frames will handle that appropriately and figure when it knows its frame size. This will have to be I'll have to change this to do like an actual calculation, but right now all it's doing is it's just sending down the terminal dimensions, but it'll calculate something to give you a portion in the future. Yeah, so before I had that, I think I actually had it the opposite way. I had it like the viewport thread was notifying the game client, but I had to kind of invert that, and lots of haphazard code that was just done to just get things work. But even though the game doesn't look like it's changing, I'm kind of re-architecting how the events flow around, and just making it a bit more proper design. And this was the class that I was previously calling the viewport. So this is the one that this right now draws like literally everything on the screen. So that includes the frame part, the inventory area down to the end. And also like the outer frame and stuff. So eventually the idea will be to make this generic, so that I can just like enable frames and I'll be able to tell a frame whether it should draw the borders or not. The famous guy E says hello, how's it going? How is the audio tonight? I guess I've only got one viewer. I hear a hiss on my headphones, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm imagining whether that's more noticeable than usual. It's pretty nice. That's good. Man, getting good. I also hear a hiss, like a electrostatic wave. Interesting. Yeah, it must be. It must be actually. It must be a cable that's loose. I don't want to. If I start messing with it now, it's going to make like insane amounts of noise. I guess you know what I could probably do. I could probably just mute the stream. Yeah, maybe I'll as an experiment. I'll try to figure this out now. I think I'll probably mute it in OBS, and then I can mess around with it. All right, how about now? That should be unmuted, and the hiss should be gone, I think. All right, so anyone confirm that I'm not still muted? I assume I'm not. Still hear a little hiss. Is it noticeably like better now than it was before? Because I heard quite a bit of hiss on my audio before, but I don't hear any now. I don't think. I'll turn up the monitor. Trying your phone. See, I've never actually checked the stream on my phone before. I'll go over here for a second. It'll probably give feedback. And never mind, it wants me to like update the app and all that kind of stuff, and I'll do that later. Anyway, hopefully the audio is a bit better now. Yeah, the TLDR of that was so I have a couple. When I bought this new what are they called, shotgun condenser mics, they came in a pack of 2, and I thought that's awesome. I got 2 great mics. And I was using the first one when I first started streaming. I was having a lot of issues with audio hiss and stuff. And eventually I figured out that the cable I had was bad, and if I bumped it in the right way, it would start like making this really annoying loud noise. And then so I bought a new cable, and that dramatically made it better. But then I realized later that one of the microphones is actually kind of bad, or it has a bad connection or something. So when I connect, the XLR mic, it like locks in. It is this fancy locking mechanism on the cable, and even with the new cable, I found that if I plug it in and then I kind of bend it one way, I get hiss, and then if I bend it, like just press it like the other way, then all this hiss goes away. And then also there's like some weird condition where if I like bump it a bit, bump the like latch a bit, it's shorting something out and makes this like super loud like blaring gain loop or something. It's really awful. But yeah, so the issue was the first issue I had was I had a bad mic and a bad cable. When I fixed the cable, and then so this time I accidentally started using the bad mic again. Okay, where was I? And I almost think that YouTube actually pays attention to like how good your audio is, because it always seems like if my audio is bad, there's less viewers. I came from your CPU video. Saw your channel showing live. What I'm doing here is I'm doing some review of some refactoring changes that I made to my block mining simulation game. So that is this game here. It's a game idea that I'm working on, and I'm raising some Kickstarter funds to add a help menu to the game because it's really confusing looking and borderline unintelligible. So it's a game where you move around this infinite procedurally generated world and you mine blocks. So you go over here and spam the M key and mine some blocks. And then you can press the C key to craft with them. So I can mine out a larger radius. Kind of like Minecraft, but 2D. How do you add more things though? Technically it's 3D. So there are 3 dimensions. So to go up, I press the spacebar, and it goes to a new level. And the X key goes down. To add more things to the game, that just takes more programming stuff, and that's kind of what I'm working on now. I'm working on the UI that I had before is kind of just the simplest possible thing I could make to actually present the game and say like, hey, this is a game. And right now I'm in the midst of refactoring it to make it so it's a bit more make it a bit more extensible, so I can start adding like actual interesting content and stuff. Because I think people are probably getting bored of me. The last few streams I've been just play testing the game. I'll do a bit of refactoring and then I play test to try and find any bugs. And so far there haven't been any major ones. And it's kind of getting boring because I'll do about an hour of mine the same blocks, and you can't really do anything with them. You should add like weather and buildings. Yeah, I mean technically, like you could add anything to the game. I would like to add, all things. Make it about any kind of simulation that you can imagine with blocks in an infinite procedurally generated world. But of course, I have to add more kind of basic concepts. Right now, there's kind of basically no crafting system. So when I press the C key, it just checks. There's no choice. It just checks to see like, do you have enough of this recipe? Nope. Do you have enough in the next one? And then it goes through. But once I actually add like a proper crafting system, then I can add a lot more stuff to it really fast, and hopefully I can generate a few more sales because it'll actually be a bit more compelling. How long will this game take to develop? Probably forever. I'm kind of thinking now. I mean, I guess it depends where it goes. Like if I really don't make any money on it at all, then I'll probably make this one of my things that I'm working on to produce revenue, and based on how many sales I make on it, then I will invest more time in it. And if this thing does not produce the most new content and money for me, then if this is not what people want, then I'll probably switch it up to something else. But in addition, I'm also making long form videos. I've been only making like one a month for the last little while, but I'm gonna try to get back into that. The Robert Elder channel is my favorite channel. When I want to learn a new Linux command, I watch the Robert Elder channel. That's good news. Yep, and then still working on the Linux command series. I've only been doing like one short per month, but I've been trying to make them higher production quality because I figure that, you know, people want more content. People always want more content, but, you know, in 100 years, are people going to want to watch a small amount of good content from someone from the past, or are they going to want to see a bunch of like poorly produced shorts? Because there's definitely a lot of really poor quality shorts videos on Linux commands. Your video on how to make a CPU is hilarious. Yeah, it's I'm glad that everyone got such a good kick out of that video. It's I was going through my listed channel videos the other day, and then I scrolled down to that one, and there was like a big jump of like the videos that are produced around it got like nowhere near as much attention, but that one it has like 200, it has almost 300,000 likes or something, and like it's got over 5 million views. So I really like the fact that, you know, a significant percentage of an entire country has watched that video. So now everyone can be free of the monopoly of big CPU, and they can make their own CPUs at home. Yeah, it's also, I think, great that it's trending now around the time when Intel is having all those issues. So now the algorithm spiked it up just now. I don't know. It gets like it gets like 300 views an hour or something, like 24/7. But it does it has been kind of ebbing and flowing. Like a few months it'll be like double the rate. Which in a way I kind of don't like the fact that I have only like that one video. I have only that one video on my channel. That's the getting all the views. So all the channel, all the ad revenue and views and audiences from that one video. It'd be kind of nice if it was more diversified. But I guess now that you're here, I can indoctrinate you into all of my other videos, like my video about the video about silicon. I thought that was a pretty good video, but it's not doing that well in the analytics. I think it's only got like 1,000 views so far. But who knows? It might be another one it'll sit there for nothing, do nothing for 2 years. It's because it's genuinely funny. The cut at the end is the most perfect. Yeah, I think it's funny. Like some people, like older people who I know have seen it are like, "Oh, why did you cut that off at the end? You should have you should have edited it better." But it's like they just don't get it. That's how content is now. Boo Intel. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's pretty awful. Their latest blunder with CPUs. I mean, back in the day, that would have. I mean, this even did do got quite a bit of news now, but I remember reading in school about like some famous bug in the there was a famous floating point bug where like you could open up a calculator and like just try to calculate two things, and it would do something wrong because it was trying to. There was a math bug in this chip design. It was something like it was addressing the wrong registers or something. You should try to make like a video from try to make a GPU or try to make a whole PC by scratch. Yeah, I think that format, like how to make X, would do pretty well. The problem that video was actually quite a bit of work, and like to source all the components, like it took me months to find sourcing photo masks is difficult as a like random civilian, and the other thing is like even finding those ones that I bought, they were I didn't even have a picture of them when I bought them. I just found them on like some weird obscure like electronics like surplus page, and they said like they had photo masks, and I had no idea what they even looked like, and I just bought a bunch of them, and I actually didn't even use those ones in the video because the other ones that were a bit older with it, I think with the I think they were for an upper layer of the chip, so you could actually like you could see what the patterns look like. So to illustrate it in the video, that was necessary. But for the other photo masks, if you just look at the pattern, you can't even see it with the naked eye because of the actual. It's for like one of the small transistor layers, and you would need a microscope to actually see the details in it. And so that for video that wouldn't work. Your Linux videos is what made me subscribe. People are scared of Linux, but you make the commands easy to learn. I'm learning Kubuntu currently, but thinking about getting into Arch. Yeah, that's good. My goal was just to make some like high retention, bite size commands that. I figured if I could get people to watch a few of those, then if I can build like the whole series, then people might start to use them as like a lookup reference. And now that I finished core utils, now I can kind of claim a bit of victory on that. But in general, there's almost like I was actually looking to see like what if I actually did like the main commands, like like most of the within less than 5-letter commands on something like Ubuntu, and there's like 400 or something. And I think I've done 100 and something now of some of the most popular ones, but that would take me right now I'm only doing one a month, so it would take me like the rest of my life to make a video on every one. And by that time, will we even be using them, or are we just using ChatGPT? What's the most impressive exploit you've ever found? I don't know. I guess I don't really look for exploits that much. I guess in I really don't really do much pen testing of other things. I've had in developing software, of course, you have to like debug your own stuff or fix bugs. And sometimes you stumble upon stuff and you're like, ooh, this is really, really bad. But then you just fix it. And I guess that doesn't necessarily always mean you identify it as an exploit. You would just identify it as like a bug. So it's kind of a different mindset and work ethic to turn bugs into exploits. But there have been a few times when I think I found I remember finding some kind of JavaScript So I was writing a program in JavaScript, and I was using like byte arrays, and I was like changing the types from like uint 8 to like uint 64 or something like that, and I found a predictable way to crash Chrome. And when I found that, I was like, this is that's kind of suspicious. This might be like, because if you can find a crash, then or like a segmentation fault, then maybe you can turn that into an actual exploit. But of course, it's getting hard to do that now with like address layout randomization and all that kind of stuff. So it's I'd have to like read up on it and get into the business of finding exploits. Do you do bug bounty hunting? No, I haven't. I don't know. Sometimes I question like maybe I should. Maybe I'd be good enough to actually find it. But then again, there's like, there's a lot of decent programmers out there. So I would figure that like the low hanging fruit is probably already discovered and claimed. Because if you look for bugs, it's going to be a matter of time. It's just a matter of time before you find some. But I think to be economically productive at it, you would need to build like a portfolio of like fuzzing tools and stuff, and a kind of repository of even just like personal knowledge that you would have about like a certain the internals of a certain piece of software. So if you know how, like, depends what you're trying to exploit, but say like Google Chrome or something like that. I don't know. I've never developed anything on the Chrome project, or even like some like Linux internals. Like if I knew a lot about, for example, how virtual memory is implemented in specifically the Linux kernel and the types of bugs, and I had like good knowledge of active bugs and stuff like that. If I spent like weeks researching that, then I'd be in a really good position to do like try and actually find and exploit some bugs on that. Because if you're just like trying to do like random SQL injections or something in the dark, I think that you're going to waste a lot of time doing that. You really need to like almost honestly, I think a pretty good way to do it would be sit down and write a guide to something, like some random piece of software, like a guide to developing a guide to getting into the Chrome project or something like that, and then in the process of writing that, of like talking about how to work on this large piece of software, you'd probably realize like, oh, this area of the project is probably full of bugs, and then once you know that, once you've done all that pre-research, then you could probably start producing some bug bounties pretty fast. And also the introspection and fuzzing tools, and I haven't used them very much. David Bombay, talk to a person from HackerOne that has helped make people millions. Seems lucrative. Yeah, I don't know. It would be nice to have millions. Yeah, I don't know. I'm tempted to like just not, because it isn't where I originally decided to kind of pursue my career path. One issue is like your revenue from that kind of stuff is only going to exist as long as like the long-term value of the knowledge you gain is going to decay pretty fast. So if you're like learning some fuzzing tools, or like I was saying about learning learning the internals of how the Linux kernel currently does virtual memory. Like if you learn all about that, memorize the code and stuff, in like 6 years' time, that's going to change. In almost certainly your knowledge is going to be out of date. So you're kind of painting yourself into a corner. There's not really a lot you can, you got to just get those bug bounties and make yourself rich, and then hopefully retire on it. But then again, I'm sure there's so many people who are doing that, who are skilled. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should maybe I should try for one somewhere. There's probably some like low skill ones for a few $1,000. I guess there was also concerns I had about. I'd heard lots of stories about people doing those bug bounties and then not getting paid. Hey, Robert, just came here to wish you a great day. Huh, thank you very much. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, is it that great advice? Oh, I hope it's useful to you. I don't know if it's out of my domain of expertise. But yeah, if I was to approach it, just become competent at like contributing to a certain code base, and then like start writing a guide about how something works, and then I guess you have to do like pretty detailed deep dive writing. Like I have a lot of blog posts on stuff, and I always try to like. Oftentimes, I find when I'm writing something, I'll write something, I'll make a claim about how something works. I'm like, this works by doing blah blah blah, and then I'll think to myself, wait a minute, is that actually true? And then I'll go and look it up, and it's like the reality is way more complicated, or it's like where I'm wrong, and then I find out there's some other detail there, and then when you like tease away all the complexity, then you realize like, oh, this could be exploited, or this is a bug, or and there's this whole surprisingly like most people just don't do deep dives into stuff. And like there's one example would be I wrote a big long blog post about a diff algorithm, about the Myers diff algorithm, because I was actually searching for just some quick copy and paste code for doing a diff, and I couldn't find any anywhere. So then I ended up learning the Myers diff algorithm, and in doing so, I realized that there's actually there's a faster version of it that exists. And so I spent a bunch of time like writing this out and testing it. But if you read the original paper, if you actually understand it, it's like almost obvious from the diagram that's in the paper that the algorithm is suboptimal. But I can understand why like a normal person would just look at it and like not really see any insight from it. But if you actually spend a week, read the paper, think about it, just look at the diagrams, go through the algorithm in your mind, then it's just like it's so obvious that you can do better than what's in the paper. And the paper has like 600 citations. You can make a living at a bug bounty if you're good at it, which is hard. Yeah, I think making a lot of money would be getting volume would be super important. I mean, probably with like AI now, like there's probably some people who are like already good, like they're already like top 1% bug bounty people who could like will figure out a way to start using AI, and then they'll just completely clean up and make tons of money. I look forward to more videos from my channel. Thanks. I guess that's a bit of a bug there. Yeah, it looks like the position's not, oh yeah, it's getting messed up. A bug or something over there making noise. Oh wow, that's quite pronounced. So I have a bug now. All right. That'll have to be, okay, yeah, that's the stale positions that have to be updated. That bug only happens vertically. Interesting. And it doesn't happen out here. Interesting. This must be only when there's like lag. If I have too many of the rock, the existence of those rock blocks slows down the terminal. Nice, great big ore vein. I think I'll probably leave it there for tonight. I proved my point. It doesn't crash. But I did find this here one bug that is not happening right now. But anyway, so as I said before, I'm going to try to do the Saturday and Tuesday night streams until the Kickstarter's done, and then I'll probably change it up a bit and do them less frequently. But so next stream will be on Saturday. So see you then, guys.